are you going to be the coach of Alabama next year? And finally he goes, yeah, I'm going to be the coach at Alabama. But gosh almighty, why do you need to make it so hard? What the heck?
Yeah. As someone who doesn't have any affiliation or fandom for any of these programs that are involved in all this, man, it would be fun if DeBoer left for Michigan and just the domino effect that had. All right, welcome back to Two Generations, One Mic. I'm Ben, and this is Pat. We got a lot on the docket today. It was a big weekend in the NFL. A lot of injuries, a lot of playoff movement. But first, starting it off with Pat's jersey.
Hey, bud. Cannot wait to talk more. I mean, we are heavy on football right now. That's just kind of the way it works. So
Mhm.
we are, we've got, playoffs coming up later this week. We've got beginning this weekend. We've got, as you said, a lot of NFL items of note with things fluctuating all over the place, whether it be talking about the way certain teams are playing, who got hurt, how those injuries might impact a few teams, not only looking at how it might impact them with the remainder of this year with 3 regular season games remaining and then the playoffs, but also going into next year,
Yep.
unfortunately, for how severe some of those injuries were. So looking forward to getting into that with you, bud.
Yeah.
In the meantime, here you go.
John Starks.
John Starks. Yep. So growing up back in the night, or not growing up, but in the earlier generation, when the Bulls were making their run in the 90s, John Starks was on the Knicks teams that gave the Bulls total headaches. And I'll tell you what, I said to you the other day, if I right now went back to the early to mid 90s self and I showed up wearing a John Starks jersey, that version of me would try to punch me in the face.
Yeah.
I hated John Starks because I was a Bulls fan along with most everybody else because of Michael and those guys. It was a lot of fun to watch those games though, and now I have a real true appreciation for those Knicks teams and how hard they played and just the true element of the NBA then where they just beat each other up. I have a couple of jerseys coming up in the near future of other players from that genre that would just try to just physically dominate people.
Yeah.
And the game is so different now. That stuff, not only would you have more fouls called now, I mean, most likely you wouldn't even be playing. And so, just to tell you a couple of quick, interesting items about John Starks, he grew up in Oklahoma,
Mhm.
went to high school there, and then went through 3 different schools, junior college and a couple of colleges within Oklahoma, and ultimately finished his college career at Oklahoma State for that season of 87 88. He actually went undrafted in the 88 draft,
Really?
signed with the Warriors as a free agent, and then actually got moved from the Warriors down to a CBA team. Then went to a World Basketball League team in Memphis. I had never even heard of that. But then fast forward to 1990, he tries out with the Knicks, and in the tryout tries to dunk over Ewing and tweaks his knee.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
part of his free agent contract that he had trying out for them is if he wasn't healed before December, they couldn't cut him. And so he actually says that Ewing is his saving grace because then he was played with the Knicks from 1990 to 98. And he actually, let's see, in 95, he was the first player ever in history to hit 200 3 pointers in a season.
Really?
Yeah, how
Wow.
interesting is that?
Yeah, that
In
is.
97, he was given the Sixth Man of the Year award. And then, though, what everybody remembers him from of all of those playoff matchups against the Chicago Bulls It was game 2 of the 1993 Eastern Conference Championship when he had what they just call the dunk now. And he was in the baseline right corner.
Hmm.
Ewing came over to set a pick for him, and he did a fake, went back, went baseline, goes up with his left hand and dunked over Horace Grant and Michael Jordan. Everybody remembers that
Yeah.
because he was like the first one of the first core guys where they just physically used they just used physicality to try to defeat Jordan. And
Hmm.
so it was like Starks, Anthony Mason, they had Charles Oakley then,
Yeah.
and oh, those were fun times. So there you go. There's your John Starks history for today.
Love it. All right. Have to hop into the NFL first. And the big storyline this week was Philip Rivers, the 44-year-old, returns for the Colts. I watched a decent amount of that game, and he looked solid, but oh man, watching him navigate the pocket, he just looked so old.
Well, it was tough because he is, as you said, 44, grandfather, dad of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he physically didn't have the characteristics of the mid 20-year-old solid athlete anymore.
Yeah.
Also, one thing you and I talked about that's kind of interesting, and I remember him all the way back when he was playing in college at NC State. His throwing motion is so funky.
Yep.
And if you look at it, if you didn't know anything about anything and you just turned on the game, and it still looks exactly the same as in his heyday with the Chargers. And
Yep.
I didn't like the Chargers, but he made the Chargers really, really fun to watch. But his throwing motion is crazy. If you watch it, it looks like he's just pushing the ball. It looks
Yeah.
like a push, not even a throw. But, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think it's kind of interesting that this would have been the year that he would have been eligible for the Hall of Fame because I think you have to wait 5 years.
He's a couple months away.
A couple months away. So I believe that that's pretty much going to reset now and going to have to wait another 5 years.
Because he got put on the active roster, yes, it pushes it 5 more years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is a beast. I mean, I think the first 3 or 4 or 5 plays in a row at the very beginning of that game in their first offensive set were handoffs from him to Taylor.
Yep.
He's just a beast.
Yeah, he's having a great season. Offensive Player of the Year will probably be between him and Jackson Smith and Njigba. So, but yeah, great running back season. Rivers did have a touchdown pass, threw for 120 yards, one interception, but the interception was end of the game, had to force it down the field. So
Right.
not really his fault, like
Yep.
more situational. But
Yep.
yeah, he did have a play though where he was dropping back, slips, gets back up, pocket collapses, has to like dive forward, loses 2 yards. Watching that play, that was tough. You could see the age there. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
good for him for doing this. And last week we were talking, we were wondering if any other grandfathers had played in the NFL.
Right.
So I figured it out. Brett Favre is the only other grandfather to play in the NFL. His last season with the Vikings.
Oh,
He was
wow.
father. And
Wow.
then for the other big four leagues, we have Gordie Howe. He was
Oh.
a grandfather when he played.
Yeah.
And then 2 baseball players, Julio Franco and Stan Musial, were grandfathers when they played.
Yeah.
So in the big four, there's only ever been 5 grandfathers, with Philip Rivers being one of them.
Well, there you go. And only one in the NFL. One other one.
Yeah, one other one.
Crazy. Crazy. That's wild. Well, and they were playing the Seahawks, and I think it's interesting. So, being a Vikings fan, obviously, as we've talked about, Sam Darnold played for the Vikings last year. They had a fantastic season, but it was near the end of the season, and he just kind of started to peter out. And if you recall, the last game of the season was Vikings at Lions, playing for the NFC North title and the first seed versus being the 5 seed. And yeah. Darnold did not have a great game. They go into the playoffs. He again didn't have a great game. He just kind of ran out of steam at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of seeing that with the Seahawks. It just kind of has percolated a little bit right underneath the surface for the last couple weeks. No touchdowns in that whole offense this last weekend. It was 6 field goals for them.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky was talking about that. He said that within the past couple games compared to the beginning of the season, that he's noticed Darnold's mechanics and progressions kind of falling off, like not as sharp as they were.
Well, us Vikings fans lived that last year. It was tough to watch. It was brutal. It was for such a fun season last year. It was such a brutal way to end the season.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so fun. I forget, Ben, going into that last game of the season, I think they both had 2 losses, if I'm not mistaken. Lions and
14-2.
14-2. And then you had that loss at the Lions, which wasn't even close. And then I believe they went to LA and lost to the Rams. I mean, brutal. It wasn't even close. Neither was close. So anyway, history might seem to be repeating itself, but it'll be interesting how the Colts play the remainder of the season, with starting off so hot and then kind of having, unfortunately, the injury to Daniel Jones, and what Rivers is going to be able to do.
Yeah, which they just announced yesterday that he will be starting on Monday Night Football next week. So,
well, at least he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Also over the weekend, Mahomes and Parsons tear their ACLs. Chiefs lose, will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Which also interesting stat for you. So looking at the Mahomes versus Brady comparison, both tear their ACLs in their 9th season with 3 Super Bowls under their belt.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that the tie was so close. An interesting question also is, which team were the Patriots playing when Brady tore his ACL? Was it the Chiefs?
Let's see.
But the interesting thing is, I remember that play. I was watching it, and he stepped into the throw just as the defender was kind of coming at him. The defender didn't intentionally go low. He was kind of falling, and Brady was stepping into a long pass, and the player went right into his lower leg. And
okay, I'm impressed. You're right. It was the Chiefs that he tore it against.
I don't know why that sticks in my mind.
Yeah. Now the difference is his was week 1.
Be interesting. I've heard all kinds of reports on that it's just the ACL and so it'll just be a repair there, which is good news. Then I heard this morning that maybe it is worse than they thought with multiple ligaments and all that. I don't know. Who knows?
He underwent surgery yesterday, and they said it went well.
Oh, they did do it yesterday, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
And, I mean, if you look at the calendar, we're 9 months out from September right now.
Yep.
So he could, obviously it depends how his rehab goes, but usually for an ACL tear, you see the kind of the minimum start at 9 months.
Yeah, and can go up to a year.
Yeah, exactly.
All depending on how it heals and how your rehab goes. I don't know, Ben. My thought is this, and you and I have talked at length about this regarding all sports.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a Mahomes fan. I am not a Chiefs fan. But I don't like to see good players that you like to watch go down. And when I say like to watch, you watch for the sport. And it's fun. You need people to cheer against. And you and I have talked about this. You need certain teams to be good. Doesn't matter what the league is or what the college, what the sport is. You need certain teams to be good because they are polarizing both for people that cheer for them and cheer against them. Same
Mm-hmm.
with players. And I hate to see good players go down. And he is good. I don't care for him, but he's good.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of like for the PGA Tour when Liv started, you had all these great guys that were fun to root against. And they all went, I call them the villains of the PGA, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
And they all went to Liv. And now there just isn't anybody to quote unquote dislike, on the PGA Tour. Same thing here. You need the good players to stay healthy, and it's really too bad. I mean, it'll be interesting how the Packers rebound from Micah Parsons' injury. They obviously lost to the Broncos, and Bo Nix had a whale of a game. Holy moly,
Best
4
game of the
touchdown
season
passes.
for him.
Jeez,
Over
please.
300 yards. Yeah, he played really well.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the effect Micah Parsons has on the Packers. So looking at it this weekend, for like rushing win rates against the O line, Parsons has 66 on the year, and the next five highest Packers combined have 67. He's obviously, which we all knew this, but looking at that stat, he is the main force of that pass rush.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I remember you saying that the other day, and then the next single player is he's whatever you said, 60 something, and the next single player is what, 30 maybe?
I think right in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, half.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
No,
Brutal.
that's unfortunate because I mean the Packers over the past 4 or 5 weeks have really looked good, both their offense and their defense. Jordan
Yeah.
Love starting to kind of run into that MVP conversation. Probably won't quite get there, but he's had a great second half of the year.
He has. He has. I thought it was funny. He was on the Pat McAfee show the other day, and he was wearing this Toyota-thon jacket. I mean, you couldn't miss it. It was huge. I'm like, well, that's the way to take it. Lord knows what they paid him to do that.
It's probably worth it. Yeah.
It had to be a bunch. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of blowouts. Yeah. This weekend in the NFL, especially during the first slate of games.
Oh, totally.
Most besides the Chargers and Chiefs, and then the Bills and New England game, which I mean was expected. There were a lot of big spreads out there, but the
Well, like you said, the real close game there was the Chiefs and the Chargers, and there was a lot riding on it.
Yeah.
Because the Texans had won, and I forget what other team that the fact that they won put pressure on and if the Bills and the Chiefs were coming down to the last few plays, and if the Bills won, then the Chiefs needed to win to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
And and then of course everything happened because that hit or when Mahomes hurt his knee. I said hit. I mean, it was he threw the ball, as the defender just kind of gave him a push. It wasn't a malicious hit at all, and
No,
his left leg just stepped funny, and that was it. But you're right. I mean, that first slate of games was in the grand scheme of things pretty brutal.
Yeah, but gosh, Josh Allen is amazing. The way they were down 21-0, came back and won that game.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy with those Bills. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And for how probably bad that defense is, this is probably the worst defense Josh has ever had on the Bills. Gosh, the way Josh can will the team back and score.
No, he is just so physically big.
Yeah. And
Which then raises a question, Ben, that I throw to you. When you're looking at, you know, the prototypical quarterback like that, so you have, um, you know, well, Drake May is a massive person. Josh
Herbert,
Allen and the bigger quarterbacks like
yeah.
that, and the benefit of Josh Allen is he can still run really quick.
Hmm.
But you have like a little quarterback like Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there as the Cardinals this year, and I know they gave him a monster contract just a few years ago, but I mean, is he your guy? I sure don't think so.
Rumor is they're gonna trade or cut him. So
I,
that's just what I've heard
Absolutely.
around. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the guy's hurt all the time and he's tiny. I mean, these guys take such a beating. You have to be a bigger dude. You
Yeah.
just have to be.
Which, as a Bryce fan, that scares me. But
Yeah, but you know what? He's done it well so far. And boy,
Wells a
it's
stretch. But
unfortunate that they lost, but I hope they get in there because they are exciting to watch. I mean, it's like a new team, Ben. You got to be kind of excited.
yeah, but it's the consistency that's killing me. We've beat the Packers and the Cowboys and the Rams this year, but we've also lost to the Dolphins and the Saints twice. I just don't get it.
Oh God, I know, and that just comes with experience. I mean, they just got to get a good solid season under their belt. They ended last year. The great thing is, what I think you got to be happy about though, is
Hmm.
that they ended last season wasn't great until like the last few games of the season, and they showed some really good stuff. You ended last year with, although the whole season wasn't great, but you ended last year with three, well, I don't know what it was, two or three actually really good games. And the neat thing is they were able to continue that success into this year. And
Now,
so,
remember they lost a couple of those games early on though, and they looked bad. People had worried that, or were worried that last season was a fluke. Then they went 4-1, started to turn it around, and right now they're on a like an every other game stretch.
right,
So
right,
it's just frustrating because it's a lot of highs and lows.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
tired.
Well, that's the way I feel about the Vikings. I mean, you just never know what you're going to get right now.
Looked good this week.
Yeah, great, thanks. I mean, it's a little, too late. I mean, it's
You like
it's
to
like typical Vikings.
though.
What's that?
I said it's nice to at least see a little bit of promise though out of JJ.
That's true. Overall, though, as typical Vikings, they're you know they might make the playoffs like last year and then fizzle out like they did a number of years ago when they played the Giants in the first round and Daniel Jones looked like Joe Montana, and they lost again in the first round. Or they just kind of miss the playoffs and just kind of sit there at 8-8, or I guess nowadays it would be 8-9.
Yeah.
Um, and so then you end up with a where you fall in the draft is right smack in the middle. I mean,
Mhm.
if we're gonna miss the playoffs, frickin' get a high draft pick. Just I don't know. That's just always the way we are. It's tough.
Yeah. It is amazing how if you look back 2+ weeks ago, the Cowboys looked like the scariest team in the NFL with that offense. And now these past 2 weeks, they've just looked awful.
Awful. They look terrible. And they
Hmm.
walked off that game. Who they play the Chiefs in the game you're talking about. And
Thanksgiving.
yeah, and everybody's walking off the field going, "We'll play anybody anytime."
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you? Nice work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Brutal.
Um,
I feel for those fans too.
yeah, that's got to be frustrating, the ups and downs of
Oh,
the team.
totally.
All right, now moving on to college football.
Yeah.
So all of the Sharon Moore, Michigan uh, drama happened the day after we filmed this last week. So we still haven't talked about that yet. Wow, what a situation. Um, Uh, Where do you want to begin with this?
Well, I think that they're going to begin the investigation into the athletic department on whether they sat on the information of him and his staffer that he was having the affair with, whether they sat on that until a day or two after National Signing Day in an effort to maintain their letters of intent from their potential players, or did they act the minute they found out?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why you would endanger your job as, say, the athletic director or in his staff, his or her staff. I think it's a guy,
Yeah.
um, and risk that coming out that you sat on the information and didn't act, because I mean, obviously, that would be a gigantic firing cause for firing, because play, high schoolers or incoming players can get out of their letters of intent and their commitments anytime anyway.
Just gonna say, I'm pretty sure if something like a major change happens in an organization, you're allowed to get out of your letter of intent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't
And frankly,
really
Ben,
make sense.
I don't even know if you need any sort of action from the school to get out. I think you can get out anytime.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know for sure you can if something major happens,
Yeah. Like
like
a
this
coaching
situation.
change. Yeah.
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 Um, but I mean, looking now that shows why they waited, but waiting also hurts you because now you're, let's call it 2 or 3 weeks late to the head coach search, and
Hmm.
so many coaches are already locked up. So now you're going to have to go to a coach who's currently under contract and toss a boatload of money at them and probably have to buy out their current contract.
Right.
So you see a couple names like that. One I've heard is Jed Fish at Washington.
I just heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, which that would be interesting because a rumor I heard being in like all of the Arizona Twitter space, because he was the former coach there, is that he and his family don't like it in Washington. That's just what I've been hearing.
Really?
Yeah, which I mean, I get it. It used to be at Arizona.
Well,
Just from a weather and environment standpoint, yeah.
oh, okay. So in that regard, you're not saying like
Not
people
the
are mean to him
school.
or anything like that.
No, the state of Washington.
Got it.
Which, how true is it? I don't know, but it's definitely interesting to pay attention to. And I mean, he's had success at his last two moves he's made, so it'd probably be a good hire. DeBoer was a big rumor, but he came out and made a statement that basically, I'm committed to Alabama.
But it
Hmm.
was I mean, he couldn't have been less clear.
Yeah.
I mean, so when he released so yesterday he verbally talked about it. The
Hmm.
day before he gave a written statement,
Yeah.
which was long. I mean, I figure just, I mean, either if you're going to come back, just say, I'm committed to Alabama. I am coming back next year.
Yeah.
I just made my statement. It was long and drug out with a bunch of. Then he was on the podium yesterday, and the reporter says, what are you going to be the coach of Alabama next year? All you have to say is yes.
Yep.
Yep. My intention is to be the coach of Alabama next year. That's all
Hmm.
you have to say. He gives some cockamamie answer, whatever, and then which didn't say the words.
Hmm.
And then so another reporter goes, "Well, I'm going to dovetail on, Nick the reporter over here. I'm going to ask the same thing. Are you going to be the coach of Alabama next year?" And finally he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to be the coach of Alabama, but gosh almighty, why do you need to make it so hard? What the heck?"
Yeah. As someone who doesn't have any affiliation or fandom for any of these programs that are involved in all this, man, it would be fun if DeBoer left for Michigan and just the domino effect that had.
Are you going to be the coach of Alabama next year? And finally he goes, Yeah, I'm going to be the coach at Alabama, but gosh almighty, why do you need to make it so hard? What the heck?
Yeah. As someone who doesn't have any affiliation or fandom for any of these programs that are involved in all this, man, it would be fun if DeBoer left for Michigan and just the domino effect that had. Because I saw Will Compton talking about if DeBoer goes to Alabama, does Alabama go after Kiffin? And I know you saw that too. And then just thinking, well, if that happened, who would LSU go after? So on and so forth.
You
So
know how much fun this would be
it'd be
doing this?
so fun. Yeah.
Oh God, we would just have a blast.
Yeah. So I kind of hope it happens, but he seems committed, so we'll see. Or does it change after the playoffs? Does he not want what happened to Kiffin to happen to him? Since Alabama's in a position to win it this year,
Yeah,
or at least make a run. So,
right,
man, we'll
right.
see.
Well, just kind of hearing some of the Paul Feinbaum stuff over the last couple days on Get Up and whatnot. You know, they have said it. I forget if it was Mike Greenberg or whoever asked him, is he safe there, basically, to which Feinbaum basically said no. Fans are not happy overall. They kind of backed into the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be really, really bad had they not made the playoffs. I mean, he's got the playoffs and he could, solidify, at least get some credibility back in terms with or love with the fans if he makes a little bit of a run in the playoffs, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
It could be kind of like an Ohio State situation last year where, they come off the fourth loss in a row to Michigan, but then get into the playoffs and run all the way to the national championship.
Yeah. But I mean, it is interesting that they're playing Oklahoma in the first round, the 8 versus 9, and
Yeah,
they lose to Oklahoma. That's 3 losses in a row to Oklahoma.
totally.
Yeah, the one
Totally.
earlier this year that we talked about, and then also the one last year, where the one last year they got smoked. This
Yeah,
year, like we said, it was close, but didn't feel that close.
right, right.
So it would be very interesting if they lose first round to Oklahoma.
Totally.
If
Yeah.
they let him go, or mutual parting of ways, or whatever. But then that
Oh,
happens at Michigan, and yeah,
no. I mean, there's so much fun stuff that can happen outside of just the actual football that's going to be played over the next month
yeah,
related to college football. Just you brought up Washington, and Washington just played in a bowl game against Boise State, and I forget what bowl game it was, and it was at SoFi.
hmm,
And along the lines of what you and I talked about last week, our bowl game's dead. I
yeah,
don't know if you saw the pictures of, it was like a fisheye camera that showed the entire SoFi Stadium seating area around in the stadium for during the game, and there was nobody there. Nobody there. And let me tell you, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are from Seattle and are huge UW fans. I mean, they love the Huskies up there. There was no one there. Now, granted, the bowl teams were announced a week prior. I think they had a week to sell tickets.
yeah.
But
Which,
it goes along the same lines of everything that we were talking about. What effect does, you know, coaching the coaching carousel and lack of, I don't know, loyalty, for lack of a better term, lack of loyalty within the coaches, the NIL stuff, and these kids, going into the portal and leaving in a whim. You have new players all the time. It's got to have some sort of effect. Since everyone talks about just the playoffs, no one really cares about the CarQuest Bowl.
now, I will say, little bit of a devil's advocate to that.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know why we're doing this bowl game on the day of Army Navy. I feel like this Saturday or this past Saturday should be reserved to Army Navy. I'll be honest, I follow college football a solid amount. Didn't even know that game happened until after it was over.
Right.
I
Right.
it's it's also, yeah, Boise State and Washington have had good years in football. This isn't on the same level as, I know on New Year's we have the Cheez-It Bowl, which is Texas and Michigan. It's it's not that. So I need to wait and see those bowl games, what actually happens there. Like the
Yeah.
Cheez-It Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, the Holiday Bowl, the little bit of bigger ones here. Because, like you said, they announced it a week before. I don't even know why they're doing it at SoFi, because that's not a big bowl. And yeah, of
Yeah.
course, everyone's going to watch Army Navy over that.
I This was the longest I've watched the Army Navy game. Like
Hmm.
in terms of like I've watched parts of the game over the last few years where, tune in and out and for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I watched almost the whole thing and it was awesome. I mean, it was great football.
Hmm.
Navy ended up pulling it out. So first of all, the last few years, they have knocked it out of the park with both Army's and Navy's uniforms.
Yeah.
Absolutely knocked it out of the park. Their helmets are just sick.
Hmm.
Navy's, they said they hand painted every Navy helmet and each one took 4 hours.
I did see that. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
It was absolutely incredible. I'm not even going to try to describe it. You have to go online and look if you haven't seen them. Army's uniforms this year were super cool, where the way all of the writing on there, including the letters, but then on the back where you have names, they just had United States Army, and it was written kind of the way you always see like the way that the U.S. Constitution was written. It's
Oh,
super cool.
that's
It's neat. It was neat. So that's fun. And then the game was great. I mean, to have the game come down literally to the last few plays
Mm-hmm.
makes it really exciting. And very rarely is that game a blowout. And you really don't care if it's low scoring. I mean, they're just absolutely beating the heck out of each other.
And I will say too, it helps that I feel like within the last 2 to 3 years, now neither team, they still don't pass a lot, but the number of pass attempts have increased for both teams. Like looking at the box score here, Army had 10 passing attempts, Navy had 14. Small numbers, but that's a lot more than it used to be. It used to be like two per team.
No, you're right. And the fun part about it is though, they pass it so rarely that
Hmm.
when they do, it's like very important.
Yeah.
And and they do it at like crucial times. And so if the pass is a completion or not, sways big time either way. So it's a lot of fun. I've really come to appreciate that game.
Were both offenses like that when you were growing up, like in the 80s and 90s too?
Running?
Yes.
Oh yeah, big time.
Huh. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And I will be honest with you, Ben, I didn't watch that game
A lot.
anywhere close to as frequently as I have the last few years.
Yeah.
Because I like right now, like all of the pageantry that's around it too, like you know
Hmm.
all of them marching out, and the Army flew helicopters over, then the Navy flew planes over. The Navy jump team came out and did this parachuting thing that was crazy. I mean, that a couple of the guys were like hooked up and their parachutes were pointed straight down. They were going straight towards the ground and like into the stadium, and then broke off and land. It was wild. It was super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then with all the coaching changes we've seen, now we have to start talking about the transfer portal since that's,
Yeah.
gosh, a little less than 3 weeks away, January 2nd. So we've started to see some big names enter the portal: Sam Levitt, Dylan Raiola, DJ Lagway. Which really interesting report I just saw today. So DJ Lagway, sophomore quarterback out of Florida,
right?
even with their new hire, he wanted to stay, but the initial meeting between him and the new coaching staff went very poorly, where it led to Lagway entering the portal right after the meeting.
Really, Ben?
They were like questioning him on his like competitiveness and all that.
Oh, that's 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 brutal. Were the so by doing that, were the coaches that were doing that expecting him to still stay regardless of how the meeting went, or were they surprised that he entered?
That I didn't see. I don't know what their response was, but I don't know if they were just trying to get him to step it up or what, but I don't know. He didn't have a great year this year, but I feel like part of that can be blamed on coaching because I feel like Billy Napier should have been fired 2 years ago. So,
Yeah,
I, yeah, Florida's a big program. Are you going to find much of a better quarterback than DJ Lagway?
I
I don't think so.
well, and with Sellers at South Carolina announcing that he's staying and staying at South, not only staying in college but staying at South Carolina, you know, he's one that would have been a nice fit down there,
Hmm.
and he's staying at South Carolina.
And I mean, you have Dylan Raiola and Sam Levitt in the portal. I haven't seen Florida connected to them. I've only seen LSU, Texas Tech, Florida State connected to those, and Miami connected to those guys. So I mean, you have the two other Florida teams above you. So it'll be interesting to see who they get.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And Raiola entering the portal for Nebraska, I think that that's probably good for both
Yeah.
sides.
I mean, and you kind of saw it coming. First, his brother decommitted, then Rule fired his uncle,
Yep.
who was the O line coach, right?
I think that's what he was. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the writing was on the walls there.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think that that's a bad thing for either side.
Hmm. And everyone's talking about how funny it is that like Texas Tech is being brought up as a fit for him, just since he has the whole
No.
Mahomes persona thing, and that's where Mahomes went. So
Right.
that would
Right.
be pretty funny. Yeah.
Did you see? Speaking of Texas Tech, did you see that the linebacker down there, Rodriguez, is that his last name? Got
Yep.
more first place Heisman votes than Sayan.
I did see that. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, ultimate points, because the way that the Heisman works, for a listener that doesn't know, you've got first, second, and third place votes. And so when you're vote if you're a voter, you put a player in the first place, second place, and third place, and then they tally them all up, and that accounts for overall points, and then the overall points is how they give the award. Saying ultimately was ahead of him,
Yeah.
but in first place votes he was ahead.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
crazy.
it is crazy. And then, yeah, looking at the Heisman here. So Mendoza wins the Heisman, number one team in the country. Weren't expected to be. That's Indiana. So it makes sense. But it is interesting how low, not that anyone else should have won it over him, but how low his numbers were compared to the past. So I have up the past six Heisman winning quarterbacks right now, which was Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, and Baker Mayfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Mendoza finished the year 2,980 passing yards, 33 passing touchdowns, 240 rushing touchdowns, or rushing yards, six rushing touchdowns. Now, of these past six quarterbacks, the lowest passing yards was 3,800 by Jaden Daniels. It's almost 1,000 more than Mendoza. And then the other five quarterbacks either were in the 4 or 5,000 mark. None of the quarterbacks had below passing 40 touchdowns. And Mendoza had the second least amount of rushing yards, with only Bryce Young finishing lower. Same with rushing touchdowns. So it was kind of, I guess you can call it a down year for Heisman.
Yeah, yeah.
Which,
I mean, it's those are wild stats. I mean, it's not like he's below them. I mean, it's significant.
yeah. I mean, which it always blows my mind too, looking at Joe Burrow's stats from his Heisman year. 5,600 passing yards, 60 passing touchdowns.
Oh my God,
It, it's,
that's crazy. Because,
yeah.
well, and you always say that team was one of the toughest, best college football teams ever.
They 32 of those guys went to the NFL from that team.
That is unbelievable if you really think about that.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
is
over half the
incredible.
NFL roster. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's wild.
now, did some of them pan out like they were supposed to? No, but some of them, I mean, you have Joe Burrow, Jamar, Justin. They had Derek Stingley Jr., who's the second best cornerback in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
They had him on that team. They were so good. It was so
so
fun,
good.
that team.
That's so awesome. And like you said, I don't care if some of them didn't pan out in the NFL. To get into the NFL, you got to be darn good.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the top 0.1%. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you've
Well,
got all of those on one football team in college. Incredible, just incredible.
and then, I mean, you also look back. So this is the second year in a row we've had running back in the Heisman Final Four. So this year it was Jeremiah Love, and last year it was Ashton Genty.
Oh yeah.
Genty had more yards after contact than Jeremiah Love had total rushing yards.
That's so wild.
Crazy stat. And then if you look at Genty's total rushing yards, it was like double Jeremiah Love. So it is interesting just the difference. Oh, I also brought this up to you in our pre-production meeting. If you look at Shadur's stats last year, they blow Mendoza's out of the park. He had 4,500 passing yards and I think 37 passing touchdowns. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just is interesting.
It is really interesting, and Shadur wasn't. I don't know where he finished in the Heisman race behind Travis Hunter, but what he was there, wasn't he? Wasn't he one of the four finalists? No, he wasn't.
No, I think he was only there supporting Travis.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Crazy.
And then the other big story, so we had Pavia's reaction because he finished second to Mendoza. Looking at Pavia's stats though, 3,100 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns, 826 rushing yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. So statistically, better season than Mendoza. But like I said, Mendoza led Indiana to number 1. But the big reaction, posted on his story, F the voters. He was at the club here in New York with his friends after. He bought a sign, or like a bottle service sign that said F Indiana. So
I
then
saw.
he
I
had to,
finally saw that.
yeah.
It's like digital.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, I don't know why. When you're at that caliber, I I would think that you'd make better judgment at looking at big picture, because when you
Yeah.
start talking about the NFL, and I've never been inside a war room, I've never been inside an interview room, obviously at the combine, but when you hear about what goes on in those rooms from NFL team standpoint, they
Mhm.
are questioning everything.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about before you're even in there to be able to do your interview. What
Yep.
they're looking at every single thing. They turn over every little rock, especially at the quarterback position, because you're the face of the organization.
Mhm.
And I would just wish that, I mean, all that does is bring in a question of judgment.
Yeah.
That's the question. They question your judgment. And it's not just judgment on the field when you're making a call on what play to where to throw it to or whatever. A question of your judgment in your entire life, because if something happens to you out, you get drafted, you get paid a bunch of money, you're the face of the place, and you start making dumb decisions in your personal life. It's just not good. It's not good. And I just wish, because I'm a fan. I loved watching Vanderbilt when he was playing. It was so much fun. And I want him to go on to the next level, which I'm sure he will. But it just brings into question a lot of stuff.
I'm very interested because the other big picture blowing up from over the weekend is there's a picture of all four Heisman finalists together. And if you look on their team sheets for their listed heights, Mendoza's 6'5", Julian Sayin 6'1", Jeremiah Love is 6 foot, and Pavia's 6 foot. Pavia is nowhere close to Sayin and Love.
Right.
He can't be more than 5'10", and
Yeah.
I think he could be shorter.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see once either if he does the combine or at his pro day where his height comes in at.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
Yeah,
You're
so
exactly
that
right.
would also be a factor into his NFL future.
Totally
It
agree.
will be interesting to see where he gets drafted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, moving on to college basketball here. Arizona maintains the number one spot.
Congratulations to you.
Yep. Picked up a big win over number 12 Alabama by 20, and they were down 2 at halftime. So that
That's
was
huge.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
And that's a Final Four team from a couple years ago.
Yes. Yeah, they were. Arizona right now is 9-0, and 5 of those wins are against ranked teams, which is pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I'm pumped for you. I hope they make a good run.
Yeah. All right, and then other sports. I'll let you touch on this. Scotty Scheffler wins his 4th Jack Nicklaus Award.
Well, there isn't a whole lot else to say. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's the Jack Nicklaus Award is the Player of the Year, voted on by your fellow players, and that's 4 in a row for him. So there you go.
I will say it's funny for me, and obviously Scotty's still young. He's in his latter 20s.
Yep.
Seeing him win 4 of these in a row, however many majors and masters he wins, and being like, he's really kind of manhandled golf in the past 5 years. And you're like, gosh, this guy's going to be an all-time great. But then you look at his numbers compared to Tiger's.
Oh.
Like, he's not even close yet.
No.
He needs to be doing this for this level for another 10 years to get even close to Tiger.
Right.
He won his 4th Jack Nicklaus Award, and Tiger has 11 of them. And he won 5 straight from 99 to 03.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
It was funny.
I know, and it's awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Also, how about NCAA volleyball?
Oh, yes. So Nebraska and Texas get upset. So Nebraska lost the first 2 sets, and then that was their first home loss since 2022.
That's insane. That's totally insane.
Yeah.
It's something like a 63. They had like a 63 match
home
winning streak or something.
Yeah, that's crazy because obviously we know a couple people at that program, and they've been just dominant as long as I can remember. So
yeah.
Too bad to see that. Almost pulled off the comeback.
Right.
Yeah, and then the last major thing, John Cena retires from WWE after 24 years.
I love that you said last major thing.
Yeah.
That is a heck of a run. I mean, 24 years in that sport. He had some significant injuries here and there. I mean, to be able to put in 24 years of just it's scripted and whatnot, but from a physical standpoint, there's nothing fake about that stuff.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
it's just incredible.
I will say though, I've heard a lot of people were disappointed with how it ended because I think in his career he had never been tapped out,
Yeah,
if not mistaken. And then to have
yeah,
his last match end with a tap out,
yeah,
even if you, in the script, if you wanted him to lose,
yeah.
having him get tapped out for the first time ever, I don't know, that just doesn't seem like a great way to honor
Uh,
him.
it's too bad. I mean, they should have had him try to battle out of it. I mean, Hulk Hogan would always, back in the 80s, Hulk Hogan would be put into a chokehold like that, and he'd go down onto his knees, and the person behind him would be holding him in a chokehold, and then he'd start to slowly fight back and put his arm up, and the crowd would start cheering,
Yeah.
and then he'd end it with the big leg drop. I mean, they could have done something pretty cool like that. I don't know why or where the decision was made to have him lose, first of all, and then lose on a boring laying down on the mat tap out. Brutal.
Now it'll be interesting to see if, with all this backlash, if he, like, in a year or 18 months or so, he comes back for one more fight, go
That's
out the
true.
right way.
That's
Wouldn't be
very true.
awesome.
That's very true. I mean, they did one heck of a long tribute to him. They did a video after the match. They did a video tribute. CM Punk and Rhodes came out and let him hold both their title belts since he had held them multiple times throughout his career. Um, all the wrestlers came out. He paraded around, then did a nice walkout and a salute to the camera, and then turned.
Yeah.
I don't know if he comes back and does, after doing all of that. I don't. That's kind of like doing a full season farewell tour in the NBA or
Hmm.
MLB, and then coming back after something like that. That's a little cheesy.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right. And then our last segment before this or that. So I feel like this is a conversation we've had our entire s- going to sporting event lives together.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you're at a game, whatever sport it may be, and you see someone there wearing a we'll say jersey, of a team that is not the home or visiting team,
Yeah.
what you and I have always thought it was rough. What are your, like, exceptions to it, or
Oh,
if you just want to go into it?
good question. I see what you're saying. I mean, we've always giggled when again, when Ben and I have been walking around and we see someone wearing a completely unaffiliated team jersey, we giggle and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think acceptable is to wear whatever is the home or away team if you're wearing a different sports jersey of the same city. So I saw a kid at a Lions game the other day wearing a Detroit Pistons jersey. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. I that's hard for me because I can see that being okay, but also, I mean, if someone were to pull up to a Lions game wearing their, like, red Motor City jersey, I don't know, it just kind of throws it off to me. It just doesn't really look the same.
No, well, it's obviously not the same. I mean,
No,
it
and
was
I
really cool though. In this video clip that I saw, and I'm using this specific
yeah.
example, this kid was wearing a Pistons jersey, and this young couple next to him, they went down to the memorabilia thing and got the kid a Jameer Gibbs jersey and gave it to him. It was actually really, really cool.
That is
Um,
pretty cool.
but I don't. I'll give you wearing a unaffiliated sports. Sorry, a different sports jersey of one of the teams. That's okay with me. You have one that I don't like.
Yeah, so mine is, what I think is okay is, because most MLB hats, it's just some sort of cursive font, or not cursive, but font of the city letters. So if you were to wear like a Knicks or a Yankees hat to a Knicks game. Like just the classic blue Yankees hat NY, or if you owned like a neutral colored Dodgers hat to a Lakers game. Just because I feel like both of those logos are almost bigger than the team. They're more of a cultural thing.
Well, if you're specifying those two teams specifically.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's one. What about wearing an affiliated player, someone who's playing in the game, but like an older jersey? So like when I was at Giants Chiefs 2 months ago, there was someone there wearing their Russell Wilson Seahawks jersey.
I don't have a problem with that.
I agree.
It's kind of like going to, where you and I have been to a few Lakers games and people wear LeBron's high school jersey.
Yeah. Or
I
even
think it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I want to hear what people have to say in the comments about that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That could spark some stuff. That'd be good.
Yeah. And then our last segment here, this or that. Today we're doing favorite non-alcoholic and alcoholic drink.
Okay, perfect.
Let's start with non-alcoholic.
Okay. I am definitely Diet Coke, for sure. Hands down, not even close. So I go get a 52-ounce Diet Coke every morning from the store next door, and it's fountain. But I will tell you, nothing beats a McDonald's Diet Coke with their straw, because they have extra wide straws, and for some reason it's got extra fizz. It just tastes different. But fountain, so then I can rate my Diet Cokes too. Fountain, actually Diet Coke or fountain McDonald's, then just fountain, then can, then bottle.
Yeah. So mine's a very similar answer, except it's Sprite. So McDonald's fountain Sprite is the best Sprite. And then after that, normal fountain Sprite, can, bottle.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then alcoholic drink. I'll go first for this. I would say probably an amaretto sour. You got me onto that a year ago.
Whoa!
And I don't have it much, but it is so good.
Wow. I did not see that coming. It's
definitely not my most drink, but if I'm at a bar and want to treat myself a little bit, that's a good one.
Nice work. That's good. I will do so if it's in the morning and I'm going to be playing golf, I'm doing a screw up for sure. So for those that are unaware of what that is, it's a screwdriver, but with either Sprite or 7-Up just to give it a little fizz. I can do 2 or 3 of those as we cruise out onto the golf course, which is pretty delightful. But overall, I would say Coors Light.
Yeah.
Can't beat a Coors Light. Love tap Coors Light. And then it goes to the pounder cans, the aluminum cans with the wide mouth. And then a can, and then a bottle. I will say tap Modelo has become very high on my list as well.
Yeah. And if I need to choose an alcoholic drink, like if I'm not at a bar and on the golf course or the lake or something, Cherry High Noon is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are solid. I'll throw one of those in every once in a while.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. That was good. We have the first weekend of college football playoffs here this coming weekend, so next week's episode should be fun. End of the NFL season. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and keep supporting. Yeah.
Smash that like button. All right, buddy. I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Talk to you later.